Hey there, guys. Alright, today we are back with some more History Matters, and this time, well, kind of similar to a somewhat recent History Matters video that we watched, where we asked why didn't Sweden fight in World War II? We are now asking why didn't Ireland fight in World War II? Before we dive in, make sure you go and check out the links in the description box below. I'd love you to join the Discord, follow me over on Twitch, and please do go check out the two gaming channels here on YouTube. My mind blanked for a second there. It was awkward. One is for edited content, and then the other is for stream VODs. Now, my perspective as to why didn't Ireland fight in World War II, because I do not know the actual answer slash answers, because I'm sure there's multiple reasons as to why. Um, I'm really just gonna guess that they just could not afford it. They're a small country, just recently independent from Britain. And likely probably also there's animosity towards Britain at this time period as well, where they just do not want to fight on the same side, perhaps. Because I know Nazis would try and get to England through Britain or through Ireland, and stuff like that. So I'm not quite sure. Let's go ahead and get it answered.
Not many nations were able to stay out of World War II, and whilst countries like Switzerland and Sweden are well known for their non-belligerence, Ireland's neutrality isn't often discussed.
Ireland's kind of been a non-belligerent, though, since, I guess, World War II.
But given Ireland's strategic position and the pressure exerted on it to join the war, why didn't Ireland get involved? How did Ireland manage to stay out of World War II? So, as of 1939, Ireland was an independent nation, having just removed the last limited legal vestiges of British power there a couple of years earlier. And so, when war broke out, Ireland's Taoiseach Eamon de Valera had no obligation to get involved and so decided that the country would be neutral. De Valera did this because the people of Ireland were overwhelmingly pro-neutrality, and whilst very few there were keen on Britain, many were sympathetic to Poland and France.
Okay. Kinda somewhat, I'm not entirely wrong yet.
The Irish government's priorities were to 1. Not get bombed, and 2. Keep up trade with its largest trade partner next door.
Because yep, alright, so it is kind of because of, like I said, my first initial thought was them being a young nation, they don't have the means to afford a war without becoming a ruined nation.
At first, Britain and Germany were both fine with Irish neutrality. Germany saw Ireland as an easy route into the United Kingdom for espionage via the north. And Britain thought that Ireland would be neutral and would pay lip service to the idea whilst providing Britain with a lot of help. Now, to be fair, this did happen, but nowhere near to the extent that Britain had hoped. The Irish government secretly gave Britain weather reports
It's wet.
for the Atlantic and would return down British pilots to Northern Ireland whilst interning German ones. It also allowed Irish citizens to sign up for the British Army, which tens of thousands did over the course of the war. Britain's position to a neutral Ireland changed when Churchill took over. He saw Ireland as a possible staging ground for an invasion of Britain and wanted access to Western Irish ports for the conflict in the Atlantic. And the Irish weren't interested, despite Irish shipping being attacked and Dublin being bombed by the German Air Force. Fear of German invasion got so bad that the Irish and British governments devised a shared plan on how to repel one. So, in 1940, as Britain was having a bit of a rough time, Churchill made de Valera an offer. Join the Allies and we'll give you Northern Ireland. Valera...
You could have had it, Ireland! Although, here's the thing, Northern Ireland has a lot of tension. How is the tension between Northern Ireland, because they are very different in terms of religious beliefs, right? Republic of Ireland is Catholic and Northern Ireland is Protestant. Is that it's still a big issue to this day, or have we kind of moved past that that religious divide? But I know in the 20th century here, that religious divide, and also which leads into a cultural divide because Republic of Ireland is Irish, whereas Northern Ireland I believe is very kind of English descendant based. I believe so. So like, obviously, I personally am a make Ireland whole kind of thing, but also like, what is the situation in terms of being peaceful in the modern day?
Valera said no for several reasons. First, this wasn't Churchill's offer to make, since the Northern Irish hadn't been consulted, nor had anyone else. Second, forcibly incorporating Northern Ireland into the Republic would have almost certainly triggered a civil war, which nobody wanted. And third, he didn't trust a word that came out of Churchill's mouth.
Yeah.
So, after the threat of Britain being invaded subsided, it would seem like staying out of the war would have been simple. But when the United States joined, there was considerable pressure from Washington for Ireland to get involved, mostly because the use of Western Irish ports would make the journey across the Atlantic much safer for American troops. But again, the Irish refused. As you'll know, the war in Europe ended in May 1945,
No
and
way.
Ireland had managed to stay out of the entire thing, which for De Valera was a victory.
Dublin News. Valera, you're welcome, Ire. No negative consequences ever.
But one which came at a cost. In the post-war world, Ireland found itself internationally isolated, and many allies criticised the Irish government for sending its condolences to Germany after Hitler's death in the closing days of the war.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
And after the foundation of the UN, the Soviet Union vetoed Ireland joining for almost a decade.
Oof.
Because the United Nations was supposed to be made up of victorious Allied powers, which Ireland was not a member of, so no entry. Particularly, relations between the United Kingdom and Ireland really took a hit. Churchill openly criticised Ireland's decision to stay neutral and made it clear that he'd considered invading the country during the conflict. But the Irish had done what they'd set out to do: avoid the horrors of the Second World War. I hope you enjoyed this episode.
Can respect that. And that was why Ireland did not fight in World War II, a short animated documentary by History Matters. This was a good video. Again, this was one of their the kind of standard that I expect from History Matters. Provide me with a good amount of context, but not overwhelm me with way too quick of information, like in a short span of time. This felt properly paced for the question at hand. I felt they gave plenty of context and reasons for the Irish and whatnot, and also extenuating circumstances like pressure from the outside and stuff like that. Maybe also would have been good to get a bit more internal information, like how internally the Irish were feeling about it and stuff like that. We got a little bit of it, but I think I would have liked a little bit more. But that's really my only critique here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.